because I know, like, I will live in Seattle, so I like the area, and I just like the school. And then I've been to University of Tennessee, I know they have a lot of connections there.
The University of Washington, right now, is definitely a hot spot for tech education. One, because they just got a whole bunch of money from Microsoft. They're a whole bunch of money from Starbucks. It's a highly competitive school. So I would say you probably should apply in January for that.
Or like,
I'm good.
or getting at least, if you're not graduating this year.
So
then
you're
wait.
not graduating.
So get everything ready by December of your senior year.
You apply January or December of the year.
Yeah, so what you'll do is you'll take the whole summer studying for this
Two
year.
semesters, right?
Yeah. Well, because you want to be,
Semesters.
because it all depends on that, if they have rolling admission. So some schools will admit you in the spring, some will admit you in the summer, some will admit you in the fall. Like say if you're gonna go to the Georgia Southern, right, and they have a program that you're interested in, they may admit you, you may be able to apply a couple of weeks up to the program if you're until the start date. But, so like for me, they admitted me for my doctorate in May. The year I applied, that deadline was, I think, May 1st, and the application date was, the application date, they let us know by May 30th, right? That you had 3 months to get yourself ready for school. But at the same time, they weren't a top ranked, doctor of public health program. I mean, they were still ranked, but they weren't top ranked. So if you're looking at the rankings, there's gonna be a lot of admission requirements and a lot of competition, as Dave mentioned. So like if you were going to MIT, you would probably want to take your GRE in the spring of your junior year, and then and spend the whole fall prepping to take it, or preparing for it, and then prepping to take it in, I don't know, say like October, then doing your application in November, December. So right before the holidays, you meet the application deadline, and then you know that I'm going to be going to school, because they'll let you know sometime around February, March if you're accepted, and then you'll have that time to get
But
ready.
then I also want you to fellowships and have to pay.
Well, that goes along with it.
That goes along with the application. You fill out FAFSA.
Yeah.
Quite often
And then,
they'll recommend you for a fellowship if you're eligible.
yeah, I mean, remember, I think between the two of us, we got like 7 or 8 degrees. So we've been through all this stuff. Way too much.
Because like you're good, grad school is really expensive. I didn't know it was like that.
Well,
That's good. What?
It's really expensive.
Well, I mean, you have to look at the cost of your education here at Savannah State. It's more expensive than what other people are paying too. I mean, you're in state, but you're not really saving yourself any money by coming.
Yeah.
Well,
I mean,
you're a black female, you're in tech and science,
there'll be money there.
there's gonna be money for you. There's gonna be plenty of money for you. What you have to do is you have to separate yourself. You have to have great grades. If you don't have great grades, have a great GRE score. In addition to that, be a leader in the school. Start a program.
Mention your block too. That's going to be.
Make sure what?
Block. Yeah, block. Mention that. Yeah, because your extracurricular activities mean a lot too.
Yeah.
So, like with me, I was on the track team, I was the president of biology club and all this stuff. That stuff really didn't make a difference to me when I was doing it. But when it came down to going through an admissions committee and getting accepted to a medical school or anything like that, they looked at, well, how did you well-round yourself? Did you take more English classes? Did you take, because biology is a science-heavy curriculum, right? Everybody who goes there takes pre-med or biology. They want to see how you separate yourself from that, and how you develop yourself as a person, because medicine is not only about science. It's about, how you deal with people. So they want to know if you've been active in different things. So like with me, I took a lot of English classes. I actually, took acting classes in school, just to learn how to have fun. So I think it's how you diversify yourself when you're in school and when they look at the application. You'll get in, right? Because you're gonna have the grades, but where you get in is. So you say you want to go to Washington, you want to go to Tennessee. I mean, I would include some other schools just because I guess as Oregon, right next to Washington, you know, it's just as nice.
Relationship with professors are good too. So my senior year in college, I had a professor named Dr. Henry. Loved him. So he had a program where one of his good friends came and spoke. At the end of that program, he brought me backstage with that person who's the dean of this particular school and said, "This is the guy you need in your school." That guy did an interview with me on the spot. Then told me to apply for the school, but don't pay the application fee. He would pull my application. When I got done applying for the school and he pulled my application, 2 weeks later, I started getting letters from Harvard University saying, "Thank you for being accepted to Harvard University under their Master's of Public Administration program. Here are some people you need to talk to about scholarship and everything." That's because I had a great relationship with a professor who knew my dream school. He got me into Harvard without me hardly even working for him. Ended up not going to Harvard, ended up going to the University of Georgia, whole nother reason. Good relationship with the professor.
So I've been trying to use my experience to do like what separates me from other people, because I've done research. This is technically this is my first internship. I did research over the summer.
Right.
So I've been trying to use that to like separate me from everybody else.
Also, when you're applying, you know, I think you've heard this before, but look at the professors who are doing the research that you're doing and just reach out to them directly and say, "Hey, look, you know, I've been working on this. I see your research has caught my eye. I would really love to continue this in grad school." And a lot of times it's this getting to the ego of the professor, you know, because you're like, "Well, hey, I have this work going on in robotics. I'm developing a new laser eye, arm, doing whatever. I don't know what to do." Right? But they will, you know, if you find somebody who has that pet project that they have a lot of grant money from, and you just reach out to them, they'll be really interested in your application. So you reach out to them beforehand. So I would say right now as a sophomore, just start identifying the professors and their research projects that you want to work on. And then, you know, they have email addresses right there, just reach out to them. And if they don't hit you back the first time, just keep hitting them back. Say, "Hey, look, I'm really, really interested in this program and I want to come here to study under you." I mean, that's one of the things, you know, as Black people that we have to do. We have to be more assertive about, you know, our talents. We're talented. You're here. You proved that you were talented a long time ago. You're here now. You're doing the work. You can handle the work. It's just gaining entry to the club that you want to be in. You know, you have to reach out to those people and just tell them that you want to be there. You won't not get accepted. When I got accepted to grad school the first time, I got accepted to George Mason University. At the time, it was the top 10 public administration school. And, you know, they were Princeton, they were Harvard, they were every other school in the East Coast. And I had professors who taught at Harvard. So for me, it was just one of those things where I just, you know, I wanted to go there. And I started, you know, the process of just bugging people at this point to accept. So just bug people. They'll get it. And then, you know, you might meet people who have connections there. I mean, I don't have any connections on the West Coast, but you know, just even come to this shows dedication. Right? So you're taking your time out of your day when you don't have to come listening to two guys you've never met before. But doing things like that can get you into the room or if you're on an elevator and you say hello to somebody, you know, that person could be the next person that can offer you the job. So I mean, just taking advantage of every opportunity that's presented. This is the story.
Did you get a one with a color on purpose?
Let's go ahead and give
saying this,
it.
I took initiative
You did.
to find it.
Good stuff.
All I'm saying is that's not the one next to you, right? I'm not gonna tell you which one it is,
But I
though.
want to see which one is different. You're the bigger picture one?
Okay.
I probably don't remember.
We can go as far left as the monitor and as far right as the chairs right there.
So you have the one from yesterday on Drive to?
Yes, I didn't download it yet.
Okay.
I haven't.
We're gonna send it to our video guy, he's gonna make magic happen. He's gonna,
You gonna be able to, 4K it?
I don't know what he's gonna do, he's gonna make it look nice though. You know,
This one's more straight video now, because Instagram is stretching everything out.
So,
For this one, I was just doing clips, like, whenever y'all started saying something.
How it looks like I might.
we can go to about the door on this one
Let's go.
and all the way over to the wall. Get captured by this. I just try to make sure I don't walk out of the screen.
Oh,
The
yeah.
first day I was walking out of the screen.
so how to go today? Any news?
No, I ain't heard from anybody today, actually.
I think they probably taking the day off, they don't wanna know.
Yeah, I haven't heard anything from anybody. Eric has somebody wanting to talk to me today.
Preparing for my trip to Charlotte next week. So where's your mom work at CDC?
My mom works at, I know she works in Atlanta.
Okay.
I don't even know.
Vision,
I know she does travel.
what's,
Okay.
okay,
And
okay.
I know like
She's asking.
she's the person that approves stuff.
Uh-huh.
What's her name?
Miles Holly. I look just like her.
I've never met her, but I'm sure that, you know, that there's, because there's a lot of divisions, right? And, you know,
I know you guys said.
M-I-L-E-S, H-O-L-L,
Why?
what?
no, I was in CTH, the Centers for Global Health, oh, I know.
I know it was N8 something.
Okay. NHCCID,
I think so.
okay. She probably knows a guy named Damon Fleming.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
He was my mentor at some.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Talk about that.
Damon is a great guy,
Mhm.
and I met him in my second master.
I need you to look up somebody.
Mhm.
Miles Holly,
She
M-I-L-E-S,
was under top.
Miles Holly, in the CDC system.
So it's NCEZID.
Her daughter's in my class.
So she knows,
Uh,
Dr., what's her name?
NYLES.
Yeah, she definitely knows Damon, because Damon is a great guy. He's the boss there. And I actually met him studying for my doctorate at Central Michigan with him. He's a good guy. And, what's her name? Doctor, she's Indian.
did it?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, you can go in neighborhood, M-Y-L-E-S.
What's her name? She's a professor at Georgia, at University of Georgia. We call her doctor. She's such a gangster. I worked with her.
Yeah.
I was her deputy in Sierra Leone, so we met. And she worked. She actually wrote my recommendation to Georgia Southern. So, what's her name? She wears glasses, skinny.
Mm-hmm. I don't know her name, but I remember what I'm talking about.
Yeah, she's really good, Dr. G, Dr. Gangster. Yeah, but yeah, so yeah, I know, I worked with all of them, and they
I
actually,
think she's been there
Oh, that's right.
maybe like 16, 15 years.
I got the CDC in 2008,
So you still at home?
and then, after I left CDC, you know, I started on the business thing, but, yeah, CDC is a great place.
She likes it. Just like how much
Yeah.
they call work.
Oh, I
She likes
thought
it.
you
It's
just
tough
watched
work.
it.
I mean, so,
I would think it would be-
my job is travel.
Yeah, I didn't see it.
So, like, in order to go to, like, I had 10 countries in the world that I had to visit. So all of the countries, like, so I'll name them, Kazakhstan, Georgia, Afghanistan, Armenia, Azerbaijan, Uzbekistan, Turkmenistan, Tajikistan, Egypt, Jordan, Ukraine. So all those countries I had to go to. And, you know, it had to be perfect for me to get there because if I would spend months at a time, or I spent a month in Georgia. And, you know, coming back with travel and stuff, it's not fun because you have to pay it off. You have to pay it out of your pocket. So I've spent, you know, there's months where just in hotels, I spent $10,000 just for the month because when you go there, you can't stay in a private hotel. So I just
You might put ATSDR
ATSDR.
and on the Beaufort campus.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what you're getting, how, yeah.
She's in your building. Alright, Monday, when you go in there, you tell her.
That hurts.
He
Her
wants to
daughter
run
been
something
acting
Tuesday.
nutty class all day.
And eating all types of chips and everything.
Eating all types of chips, getting smart with us. We almost had to kick her out of class. Let her mama.
And tell her she can do a lot better with her talent than what she's doing. No, but it's been our pleasure having you. And, no, you're welcome. And you're going to your internship. When do you come back from your internship?
That's the thing, so it's supposed to be a 13-week, but how school is looking, so I'm transferring, this is my last semester here.
Where you
Going
going?
to Kennesaw.
Oh, okay. So you're going to the former Southern Poly, right? So you're going to that's a good school for engineering.
Because I found that here in Green, they don't have engineering, they have engineering technology.
You have to go to Georgia Southern.
They have, it's Georgia Southern, UGA, Georgia Tech, and Kennesaw.
Yeah. So,
UGA. And she grew up, it's actually like $1,200 for the year.
and then even if you're going here, you still have to go to Georgia Southern pretty much, is that right? Or take classes or not?
No, I'll go straight to Kennesaw.
Okay. Well, that's good.
You don't have to, some people graduate and have to choose.
Okay. Yeah, that's dope. I like that. That's almost like the Clark and Georgia Tech program. So you go to Clark and you major in engineering, then you go to Tech and you finish up the curriculum there, but you're still enrolled. So will you be dual enrolled or you're actually moving to Kennesaw? You're going to
We're in
graduate?
Kennesaw.
Okay.
I know my first day of work is on May 20th. Last back, after we moved to my apartment on the 10th of August.
So completely paid? Excellent.
Completely paid, housing, travel, stuff, and the only thing is, they split the rent with me halfway.
Yeah.
So they take like $240, I might take every 2 weeks, but I don't see for the
There's a lot of stuff to do with Terry, I think it's fine. Terry,
I was there last summer. I don't really like, I think I probably want to move either North Carolina or Washington, or Seattle.
So, I mean, there's gonna be engineering schools in North Carolina. I mean, if you're gonna continue on with Deere, you might as well go with Go and have them pay for your education.
That's what I'm thinking about. So I know with an internship, I know they give you money for school. They give you $50 if I go back. And I went to the third martial solution, and that's why I got it. And then I talked to the engineer, he said he did it for 2 summers, and then he came on. So if you do 500 hours over the summer, and equal that's for 1 year. So you're saying that he got paid more than other engineers because he had experience with the company.
That's what, that's what I'm saying. That's it. So, Jay, you know Deere has, the deal with Kesprey drums, right?
Who?
Kesprey and John Deere. So I think Kesprey they're doing a lot with insurance, but they developed their own drone that work with John Deere specifically, so they've taken over a large portion of the agricultural market. been light today.
Right, man, that's
Yeah.
about 3 weeks.
Very good. Banana Sharice. Make sure y'all going. So did you join the ladies who droned, thing? Good, we don't need you to join that, we need you to join our nonprofit association.
I didn't hear about that.
Yeah, there's a, well, I won't tell you much about it, so.
Oh.
Yeah.
Talking about the IG women who drown.
Yeah, women who drone.
Oh, you
There-
know, they
there's a-
shouted us out.
They did?
Yeah,
I did not know that.
yeah. women who
Yeah, you
drown.
gotta network with everyone.
They
man.
shouted us out. They shouted us out like a month ago.
Oh, wow. See?
Went on our website and, told people who we were, the city we were going into and stuff like that.
So another thing I'd like to talk about, communication, how about that?
Man, you know IG more than me. I figured you knew.
I didn't know. Remember, with our 10 followers. So. No, but that's interesting. So you didn't know about there's like nonprofit groups for women who drone. Yeah. But we're,
So am I?
no, you're not to join theirs.
Oh.
Join ours. We'll, well, that's the thing, yeah.
Alright, so we'll probably give it about 3 or 4 more minutes, then we'll get started.
Anybody have anything interesting that they want to talk about today? Because like there's like really like there's got to be some interesting stories that you've heard when you talk to
Friday, man, that's it.
you have an interesting life. I listened to some of your music last night. The one with the egg is the most recent thing. And
Yeah.
that was pretty fucking like that.
Thanks, man. It's like videos I make. They're like music videos, but like.
The one with the one I didn't understand was this guy sitting in the bathtub with a hat on and his hand reaches up and puts a wine glass or a martini glass filled with ice and it keeps getting colder. And he lights his head on fire. I don't know where that came from.
It's from a old movie from the 50s called Help, My Snowman is Burning.
That was
It's
the
an
name of the
experimental
movie?
film, yeah.
That was a long day of a movie, man.
It's cold and he lives in- It didn't look like, I thought it looked like it was filmed at a later time because the
They
cinematography was.
filmed it so well and the transfer was done so well that like, it looks very modern.
Yeah, I mean, so it wasn't Technicolor, it was something that it I would have guessed like 70s or early.
That's what shocked me when I saw it. I was like, this is from the 50s?
It was pretty progressive. and-
Just, yeah, it's super progressive.
Was it-
Back then, people must have been like, you crazy.
Was it Eastern European or something like that, or?
Some like European director that came over and I think even all the actors are European.
Yeah, they had to be, because that never would have flown here. In Norway or, Estonia, Latvia, or somewhere in the Soviet bloc.
I like a lot of that old film. Have you ever seen that movie Stalker?
Mm-mm.
Like Tarkovsky or whatever. He's got one of the longest shots in film ever. I think for 30 minutes he follows this cart as these guys have a conversation. It's so long where you're like, why? After a while it starts to become, I think it's supposed to be that. It gets kind of
Sounds like a Woody
absurd
Allen.
and humorous.
All right, y'all stuck it out with us 2 days.
3 days.
Now we're on the 3rd day. So we went from impact to influential to essential. So for impact, we told you what, find an organization that fits you within the organization you work with. Next thing you know is find an internal organization within that group so you can socialize, you know people within your field. And the third one is find an external organization within your field so you can really start to build your networks, not only inside your job, but outside your job within your field. That allows you to be, and first and foremost, you need to be good at your job. So you do those 4 things, now you're an impactful person. People are looking at you as a person that's someone to know within your field. Next thing was, I put the wrong slide in there. Yeah, this is forgive me. Sorry, so, forgive me, put the wrong slide in. So next day was, how to be influential. How do you become influential? Volunteer. Find your organization that fits your passion. Get in that organization. Volunteer first. Start small. Volunteer first. Become a consistent volunteer with that organization. Next thing you know, they're going to ask you to become a leader. Become a leader of that organization. Next thing you know, they're going to ask you to be a board member or a chair or something like that. Now you have influence of how that organization functions on a month-to-month, year-to-year basis. You are influencing an organization that's influencing your community. You are now a change maker in your community. Also, find leadership development programs that can help you develop as a leader, help you develop your network, and allow you to be a more recognized person, not only within your scope of your passion, but outside of your scope of your passion. Because it's good to be recognized as a leader, period. It's cool to be recognized as a leader of the environment, or a leader in tech, or a leader in music. But it's even cooler to be looked at as a leader in synthetic, who happens to be great at music. But if you want to know about banking, you can talk to that person too. You want to know about anything else, you can talk to that person too. They're just a leader, period. That's kind of where we're trying to get you. Starting to narrow with your job, we expand you, and then we're expanding. And so, it's levels to this. So we're trying to get you to those levels. Day 3 is how do you become essential? How do you become essential? You become essential by pushing your own idea, your own agenda. Now you are the essential piece because it's your idea, it's your program, it's your business, it's your section of the community. And so, and the beautiful thing is that you've done step 1, step 2, and you've done it well, you now have a tribe of people who are willing to help you. You have people who you've helped over the years, and now they're willing to help you. One of the people who I know has one of the best tribes is this brother right here. We started this business, and his tribe has been very influential to the development of our business with this last. His tribe was very influential to the last business we were in. And I assume his tribe has been influential in some of the businesses that he started outside of this. He'll probably get to that. I'm assuming he'll get to that. I know he'll get to that when it's his part. But that is, you do things, you do them well, you develop your tribe, you help other people do what they do. Chances are they're going to help you do what you do. They said you become more successful as you help more other people become successful. So when you help other people become successful, that helps you become more successful. One, that builds your tribe, that helps them become a success, and they're more willing to help you out. You know what I'm saying? So it's just one of those things that run full circle. I have friends who I put in for awards, your 40 under 40s, your top Boy Scout, your Rise a lot of them are like, well, I'm really not that big on awards, I'm really not that big on being recognized and stuff like that. And I say, that's fine, but you're a part of my tribe. And I want my tribe to be instantly recognized as leaders. I want it to where when you walk in the room, you don't have to prove who you are before you get to that room. They look at your resume, they look at your bio, and when you walk in that room, they're automatically listening to you. That cuts down half the crap right there. If you don't have to prove yourself when you walk in the room, if you don't have to state that you're a leader, if you don't have to walk in with your chest popped out, you just walk in and you know people are gonna listen to you, people are gonna pay attention to you, that cuts out half of the stuff. But when you reach that level, now you can start to push your own ideas, you can start to push your own agenda, and start to create things that are yours. So, how does this work out in real life? I'll give you some personal and some professional examples. So, in the CDC, I did well with the emergency management and the emergency operations center. I did so well with that they created a brand new job for lab safety. So basically, there's over 300, well, I don't know if I can say, there's over 300 labs across the United States that handle the most dangerous substances in the world. They're called select agents and toxins. There was over 300 labs across the United States. There were over 300 emergency management plans across the United States. There was over 300 ways that if something happened in Houston and something happened in New York, there was no set standard as to how they would respond. Each one would respond different, and you didn't know what was going on. And so the Office of the Vice President of the United States said this needs to be fixed. Somebody needs to come in and create a standardized plan to which all the labs can respond, because this is a matter of national security. And we are not up to the standard. So because I had done so well at the Emergency Operations Center, and I helped create a lot of the policies and procedures and establish a lot of the things that the CDC Emergency Operations Center was doing, I got hired to do that job. And so it was my own entrepreneurial venture. It was something I created. I was the essential piece to that. So I came in and I fixed it in several ways. I don't know if y'all want to hear the details, but first way I did is I fixed how we respond internally within the CDC. And I created a 3-tier system. So the scientists who are the experts, they don't get bogged down and bothered with every single call that comes in about rice or about anthrax or about the flu, because they're doing their everyday job. You can't be bothered with 10 different calls from the general public, which is what was happening. So I created different tiers, and things happen in this tier right here, don't bother the subject matter expert, handle it at the emergency operations center. Reaches this second tier, don't bother the subject matter expert, call me as the emergency management expert. And then if these things happen, that's when you talk to the subject matter expert, right? And at each level, reports still go to the subject matter expert. Just because you handle it at the desk, just because I handle it, we still have to create a report and send it to the subject matter expert so they know what's going on. But they don't have to be bogged down in their everyday life. So now that allows them to do their job and only respond to the things that are important, only respond to the lab emergencies that are important. The other piece was I created kind of some standard responses to certain natural disasters depending on where you're at. If you're in an area where there's a lot of earthquakes, every lab, there's an earthquake, these are the 5 things you do. These are the 2 things you do. If you're in a place where there's a lot of floods, this is what you do, man. This is what you do, this is what you do. So there was some standard 2 or 3 things, regardless of the emergency, that they're going to do. Now, outside of those 2 or 3 things, they can be creative and do other stuff, but you're going to do these standard 2 or 3 things. So that's what I did. I created that plan. Not only did I create it, I had to implement it. Since I was the one who created it, I was essential in making sure they got implemented, got the plan implemented, and it went over well. Went over so well that my director, who sits on the White House Council of Emergency Preparedness and Response, was sitting in a meeting with international leaders of public health globe, and the Secretary of HHS, and Assistant Secretaries, when he was talking to world leaders, said that you all want to know how to set up a national emergency management plan, you need to talk to that subject matter expert down there at the CDC, who worked on the select agent topic. Because not only did he create it, he implemented it, and that's one of the best emergency management plans we have for national security right now. It's a pretty cool conference. As a result of that, I became one of the featured speakers at the CDC when people came. So, you know, I talked to the leader of CDC Europe, leaders of CDC China, leaders of India, leaders of all other nations, and they would come and they would look at how the CDC does its business and ask how they can improve their, you know, their public health in their nations. I was probably one of the 10 or 15 people that the director of the CDC was like, you need to talk to him. You need to talk to him, which is pretty cool. You know, I got a chance to talk to world leaders on probably a monthly basis, you know, tell them what I did, how I did it. And, you know, it was pretty cool. So that's how you do, that's kind of an internal one. Another internal one where you're doing it through an organization, I did the Urban League and the United Way. So in the Urban League, one of the things we decided to do was a entrepreneurship boot camp. We had an idea that, hey, we need to have a kind of a boot camp to kind of jumpstart people who want to start a business. Let's have 4 or 5 different subjects. We have speakers around our age who've done it, who can relate to them, come in, talk about it, and just help people jumpstart their entrepreneurship ventures. So it wasn't my idea, it was a guy by the name of Travis Townsend, it was his idea. But I joined his tribe and I helped him create it. And then with the United Way, what I did was I created a camp for overweight young black females. Didn't know by 2025, if the trend keeps going the way it is, over 80% of black females 25 and older will be obese or overweight. And so I created a camp for teenage girls to teach them how to shop, teach them about exercise, teach them about health, eating, things of that nature. That was kind of my creation. I created it, that was my own little entrepreneurial thing within the scope of the United Way and following the United Way mission. And that year we were able to get a camp where we had the mayor of East Point, police chief of East Point, Georgia, we had the Atlanta Braves, we had University of Georgia, all of them helping us out, great healthcare system. So that was a camp I created, and I created partnerships with all of those people to help us put that camp on, along with a lot of other community leaders. So that's how you can do entrepreneurship internally. Entrepreneurship externally, I'll let you talk about that. So I talk about, I had one business, it was an after-school business. Me and another a friend of mine, we started a after-school business. She actually started the business, but she wanted to expand it beyond Atlanta. She thought that I would be a key essential piece to help them expand beyond Atlanta. So we applied for several federal contracts. We ended up getting approved in 7 different states. We actually ended up working out of Georgia, Iowa, Illinois, Texas. We ended up operating out of 5 states. We developed a national after-school company. About 5 states. In addition to that, I also started a consulting firm called Horizon, where I did political consulting and also did business consulting. And I've helped start Vector, that young man over there. But in all of those, I had a tribe to help me out. So with the after-school program, when we went into Iowa, I had friends who lived in Iowa, family who lived in Iowa. We went to Iowa and stayed for free. You know, we lived with somebody. We went to Iowa and got connected to schools through our friendship. We went to Houston, and my best friend from the military, his wife had good friends, and so all of these places, I used my tribe. And my tribe helped me build these businesses. And it wasn't as hard as starting all over. And just to give you and then I'm about to end it and let you go. But I'm gonna end it with this thing. What do you think is the average age of the top 200 fastest growing businesses last year? The average age of the founders and the CEO? 30,
A little bit of it, they're like 27, 28.
45. 45. That's the average age of the top 200 fastest growing businesses. See, we've been thought about this, we've been duped into this myth that you start this business at a young age, and all of a sudden you're making all of these millions. Those are the outliers. The people who start a business and do well and make money and make it the fastest, they're the fastest growing businesses, are the people who work for 10, 15, 20 years, who built those networks. And in those networks, when they were able to start, they built their name, they built their profession, they built their network, they built their leadership. So now when they start a business, they know exactly who they are, they know exactly who they need to talk to, and they're on a mission. And just to give you an example, and I'm gonna leave the rest back to him, but the top 10% of all businesses, only 10% of businesses earn $500,000 a year or more. Only 10% of all businesses. Our business, by the end of this year, will be in those top 10% of the businesses. And when did we start our business?
March 15th.
March 15th of last year. So not only are we we're one of the fastest growing companies in the nation, but we'll be in the top 10% of all businesses in the nation in revenue. And we started late. And why did we grow so fast? We had a built-in network, especially this brother right here, that allowed us to really grow and really make things happen. So that's why I stress the I, because statistically, you need to develop your impact, you need to develop your influence, and then you need to be entrepreneurial ventures. So with that, I will step to the side and let my brother Anthony speak.
Welcome back. So I don't think we got into the iceberg today because I stole everything I could do. So I stole the Halloween idea from Jay. And I stole the cereal idea that he might come up with to use. So, stealing, not really stealing, it's borrowing and giving it back to somebody, adding value. So that's how you build a product, a little bit of creativity, right? I will give you credit. You get all your roles. But at the beginning of this class, we're talking about tribes and everything, right? And, we talk about where we came from, where we are right now, where we're going. And Kennedy asked the question off key to the subject. And since there are people who have been in that situation before, you maybe can provide a little bit of feedback. Kennedy asked about when should she start applying to grad school. And we went through a lot of different factors, right? And since we have two grad students and graduates in here, I think it will be a perfect time for you guys to help her become a part of your tribe. And also a part of our tribe. You guys have been consistent with us, right? So you're a part of our tribe, and we welcome you into it with wide arms. I'm a very lucky person. So why don't you drop and just answer the question for when did you start and what type of things influenced you to where you want to go, what you want to do, and how you prepared for it.
So I'm like one of the rare cases in the world where my mentor actually contacted me and wanted me to come up to school.
Like you bought it. So before I tell you about fucking the hell out of somebody, if you like that research, find the research that you like and find the person who's going to do that research and contact them.
Well, it's not so much I love her. It's more like she took an interest in me and found that I'm a dedicated student and I get my work done. And she wasn't particularly
I did have plans to apply for grad school when I graduated, but I was so burnt out, I wanted to take a break. And to be honest, if you want to go right into your graduate, I'd say go right in because it's going to be hard to get in. And go ahead and take your graduate degree. Because the faster you take that, the less knowledge you'll lose when you take it 2 years from now. So I definitely recommend taking it now. And start, do not go into a program where you have never been before or haven't met any of the professors that you want to study under. Go to them and interview them and ask them hard questions. And ask them if they have funding for you. And because most times, you shouldn't have to pay for graduate school. And I don't pay for graduate school. Mine is scholarship.
You have a fellowship or something?
Fellowship, it's through NOAA. And then Savannah State has the Title VII fellowship.
You get a refund too? Like you get paid for it?
I get paid, yes, it's actually paid. We don't get a refund, because our fellowship pays for our classes and tuition for the school, and we just put in work hours every week, and that's how we get paid.
So your best resource is sitting right next to you. Quentin Litter. Okay.
So I went to grad school when I was 35. So I have been in the IT industry since I was 15 and totally burned out. And I've always loved the ocean. The first time I went scuba diving, I was 14. That was like, I was totally driven to do it. My friends were like, you were insane. They didn't even know how to swim, so I thought I was crazy. I don't know, I came here with my friends. I actually made a bunch of friends here who were going to grad school, and I realized I could pull that off.
So there's different ways of doing everything. So there's not one standard way of doing it. Everybody's gonna prepare different. You prepare based on, your social plan. You prepare based on your academic plan. So don't just be so, buttoned in on Seattle, Washington, or University of Washington, or not University. You might find that you like people in other places. You might find that you have a professor that you really dig and you really like, that you really want to study. I think that's one of the biggest things that they can talk. Like if you talk a mentor into existence, they will be there for you when you least expect it, right? That's how we met one of our biggest sponsors and one of our biggest believers in our company. This happens then, right? So remember, I always do things in the elevator. Did I cut you off?
No, whatever.
No.
Okay, I thought it did not matter. It's your.
No. So like here, and we want to make this as like, as like productive as possible. We didn't come here with the intent just to, to come here and talk to you guys to death and make sure things are fine. We want to build a fine. That's where we're going with this. It's about learning. It's about family. Because your father's your family. Like, they're better families. The people that you do business with are sometimes better family than your family. And I'll get to that story. There's also, can you open my little bubbles on there so I can, yes, okay. So we got the Veterans Resource Group. We have, we got all the way through this sort of bubble. We got trust, family, and failure. So there's learning, there's trust, family, and failure. So all of these things have gone throughout my life. Right? So, I failed a lot, I've learned a lot, and I've learned to trust a lot. And all of these things have come through, my experiences from growing up with not a lot of anything, wanting a lot of stuff, achieving a lot at an early age, and then losing a lot at a later age and having to rebuild it. But everything has been a part of my story, and my tribe is a part of my story. So Jay talked about my tribe. My brother-in-law is, part of the reason why we named Vector Vector. I was sitting on this couch and we were, just sitting there hanging out, and we were talking about mosquitoes. Mosquito. So Vector. V-E-C-T-O-R. Then you look it up in the dictionary and you say, well, what does it do? Well, it carries stuff. It carries things. It carries malaria to people who didn't have it before. It transmits things. It puts things in the places where either they belong or they don't belong. Right? So a vector spelling of it, VEKTER, vector. Perfect, right? So when we are moving the drone industry into different communities, we're a vector of knowledge, right? But a vector is also planes. It's a straight line for you. And so we're also that. We transport things, knowledge to our company. So getting into my failure, I failed a lot. I had to fire one of my fathers, actually my brother. We started a business partner environment, and his name is Carlos, my name is Andy. We put the R in the middle, and we called it Art. And when I had to fire him, it became pay, right? But I couldn't trust him, and he wasn't willing to learn. So I ended up, losing a part of my father that I cared deeply about, and that relationship is kind of severed. But you find out the people that you work with, not always is your family going to be the best people to work with. So VRG was my recovery effort. That's the Veteran Resource Group. And I talk about that a lot because it was very dear to me. I had an opportunity to work with people who felt that they were disenfranchised from the rest of the place. They had alcohol, they had drug addiction, they were homeless. So I helped them get back to work just by setting up programs with for training, carpet cleaning, carpet laying, hands-on crafty stuff. And it was actually based on, we talked about this last night, Forest Parkway. So we're on Forest Parkway, and we were spending, there was a large homeless veteran population there because of the military installation that closed. So we took those guys and helped them get back to work. My family, like I mentioned, my brother-in-law, but now my tribe is really a part of my family. Like when we, Jay always mentions my tribe, these are people that I went to undergrad with, these are people that I went to graduate school with. I contacted, some of my friends who are university professors and all different kinds of things, and they hadn't heard my voice in 20 years, but they remembered that we were very close. And they said, well, hey, look, whatever I can do for you, let's go ahead and do it. So, just taking advantage of the opportunities that we have, building your tribe organically, and making sure people can trust you and help them learn, because there's an opportunity that you offer. You're not going into this blind. I mean, we gave you the advice about school. Well, there's probably some advice that you give her too. There's always an exchange of information. There's always a way to be a vector. It gives somebody something that they don't have, right? So we have that opportunity, and just take advantage of it. You have our contact information. You can reach out to us because there's a lot of things that we don't know that we probably learn from you. Hey, teaching about social media is probably actually we need to make it funny because we're slow. Because yesterday he's like, hey, you know what? You know what Wednesday is? No, it's hump day. No, it's the best day to post social media, right?
Or statistically, that's based off their algorithms.
I don't have an algorithm. Can we afford an algorithm person right now? So like, I have to take his advice and say, well, we need to post on Wednesday. Now the thing is getting the content ready for Wednesday. So, I want to do that, and I want to take advantage of it, and I want to make sure that, when I need to figure out something, and I don't really want to pay a lot for it, I'm not going to pay a lot for this month either, right? So I want to make sure that I contact you and get out there. So the same thing, if there's any information that you need from us, or if there's any information that I need from you, I don't hesitate to call, like I call. But I'm unashamed to ask for help when I need it, and help comes in all shapes, forms, sizes, and everything. So that's one of the biggest things about building your tribe and going through what we're doing. It's helped because I was going through, you're all familiar with the scientific method, right? The scientific method is not the same for everybody, but it's got the same basic parts to it, right? So if anybody can assist me with this is where does it start? Asking a question. Right? Asking a question. Because you don't know that there's a problem until you ask a question. And then when you ask your question, you have to develop a more serious question, right? So you actually have to research the question that you ask to ask a more detailed question. And what always happens in scientific experience? You fail. That's why it's an experiment. So that's why there's a feedback loop. On the left-hand side of it, there's a feedback loop that says, hey, if this fails, we're going to retry it, we're going to write it up, we're going to research it more, and start over. Right? So, like business, love everything is an experiment, right? So when we go through this, like building communities and everything like that, then it works because you know you can expect failure, but you know how to remedy failure because you've gone through it 7 other times. And like I say, you know, the light bulb wasn't invented overnight. It took, I think, 301 times to do it. Right? And so once you get to the point where you get fed up with everything, just lean back on your trying to have more information for you. Like, well, maybe you didn't connect the buildings just right, or maybe the housing wasn't just right. I have an idea for a housing that will help you. And, you know, most of the time, it's a passing, like some of our late night conversations are really in depth about stuff. And, and it was funny, I brought up something that was totally on my mind, but had nothing to do with it. And he was like, well, you know what? That's a great idea. We need to implement that. I'm like, well, this doesn't fit. But then he told me how it fit. And it was just something that was coming from nowhere. But, you know, I guess it comes part of that trust, right? You have to be able to trust the people that you work with, just to share your deepest, darkest things, but not everything, but some of the things. Like, you have to be able to trust somebody enough to tell them the things that you think are stupid. Because when you think about it, you know, a business relationship is more serious than a marriage. Like, we have a lot to lose here. I mean, you know, if we don't succeed, you know, there's going to be financial records, and there's going to be, you know, all these things that we can't just get rid of easily. You know, so you have to build your tribe with white people. You know, you have the right to exclude people. You know, you don't want to include everybody. You want to make sure that everybody provides value. And that's why we're here, to help provide value and to help you guys help us provide value. Just continue to grow businesses, so socially, communally, and professionally.
All right, with that, you said a scientific method. I'm going to give you, this is my way of how to change the world. This is something that I've been posting. I post this every single year at the end of the year on Facebook and several other places. And this is my 7 steps for changing the world. And you know, you gotta change the world around you, or if you're that ambitious that you want to change the world, you can use these. Step number one is find your passion. If you don't feel strongly about what you're trying to do, you're not going to go through the hurdles, the ups and downs to make it happen. Step number 2 is what these last 3 days were about: creating your team, finding your tribe, making sure you have the right people on the team. Step number 3 is understand the team's gaps and seams. What I mean by gaps and seams is seams are like the seam on your pants where you have overlap. So you may have 5 or 6 people on your team that are very good at writing proposals. Cool. But you may have some gaps. You may not have anybody that's good at handling finances. So you have to find out where your gaps are so you can see if anybody on your team can kind of fill those gaps. And you have to see where your seams are at so you don't have too many people working on the same project. You really want to develop a strong team for the things that you want to do. And you may be doing 3 different things at a time, and you may have 3 different teams, you know, within your tribe doing all 3 of those things at the same time. So it's just a matter of knowing your friends, knowing your tribe, knowing what they can and can't do. Once you know what they can and can't do, what you have, what you don't have, now you develop a plan. So you say, I got my passion, I got my team, I know what my team can do. These are the things within the skill set of my team. Let's see if I can create a plan to make a change that's within the skill set of my team. Because you don't want to create a plan that you can't execute. Next step is executing the plan, actually doing it. You have to do it. That's where so many people get caught up, is they have great ideas, they have great ways of doing it. Sometimes they write it down, sometimes they don't. But most of the time, people get caught up in either developing the plan or executing the plan. And execution is hard. It's easy to say what you want to do, much harder to do. Execution is hard. The next step is evaluate the plan. You always have to look and see what went right, what went wrong, how can I do this better, how can I be better. And then the last step is the most important one to me, is do it all over again. Because you don't change the world with one mission, one goal, one thing. And I say start small and work your way up. What was Jesus' first miracle? I see water in the wine was raise Lazarus from the dead? No. Jesus didn't say, oh man, I want to perform a miracle, I'm just gonna raise Lazarus from the dead, show y'all what all I can do. No, he changed water to wine, and then he moved progressively up and up and up, until it was time for him to do the awesome miracle, which was raise Lazarus from the dead.
You can't start out like the guy in South Africa who raised God from the dead after only being dead 3 days. Remember that?
That was a video that was going around, right? Yeah, I seen that.
That was his first miracle. I don't trust it.
So you just start small and, you know, you get bigger and bigger and bigger, and that's how you do it. And so with that,
Well, you walked in a little bit later, so like we don't have to recap everything, right? But we can still open it up for conversation for you, okay? So you've been here 2 days, that's 2 out of 3 days, that's 66%. You're part of my tribe now, okay? So it's good, right? So just tell us about where you want to go and what you're going to do. You don't have to sell me cereal today. You don't have to tell me, you don't have to, tell me about the Halloween costume. Just tell me about you and what we can learn about you.
it's pretty good to have a business.
So,
we understand.
Interested to hear this.
Yeah, I want to hear it.
It's more simple to without just spending minutes and minutes. So I'm planning on starting with nanotechnology.
Sure.
And my biggest question would be, as I walked in, I heard that you guys were saying like start small, but like, in what exact manner did you start small with technological base?
Well, I've had a professor who told me that the biggest thing you can do for anything that you do is always to start with a definition of what you want, right? Right. So small to us may not be small to you, and the word nano means small in itself, right? So I think it's just again, putting the right team around you. It's not saying that you have to work miracles right off the bat. It's just expecting failure along the way, not expecting funding right off the bat, and just being willing to execute your mission to the death. Because I guess it's what the Army would call warrior ethos. It's the will to win, even though there's chances of you losing, right? So starting small just means that you have a management over your personal situation, and it doesn't have to be just knowing that you don't have to work miracles at the first step. You might fail, but somebody still might be there to bail you out.
Let's say,
What was the first thing Google did when they started their business? What was their first mission? Changing the way people search on the internet. Now what does Google do? They do a whole bunch of stuff, right? But they started small. They started by just changing, improving search on the internet. What was the first thing Apple did when they became a company?
like, for PCs and stuff, to the marketplace?
Built a better functioning computer. That was their one vision. Now they got away. Phones, iPads.
Well-
That's how you start small. You find that one thing that you want to make better.
Here's the
Success
specific.
breeds success.
And Apple did this very specifically. So remember, I sent you this thing a couple of days about Steve Jobs, and he had he was speaking at the Stanford graduation before his death. I think this was 2008, right? And he talked about how his family life was, how he wasn't sure he wanted to go to college, and actually he wasn't going to be adopted by his parents until they signed a waiver saying that they could pay for his college, right? Because his mother was a young, unwed college mother, so he was adopted by his family who did not graduate from college, and she did not want to adopt him out. So they paid for his first year of college. He went to his first year of college, and he said, "I don't like this too much. I'm just going to hang around the next year." So the next year he took classes, but he wasn't enrolled, so he found the cheapest class he could take, and it was about writing. It was I think a cuneiform with a calligraphy class, right? And he said, at the end of the deal, he's like, well, when I started Apple in my garage, it was about the hardware and the software. But when I got down to it, I'm the person who put the fonts on your computer that Microsoft copied. So without Steve Jobs developing the fonts on the computer, all these fancy fonts that you could write on, it wouldn't exist. So, starting small again, just doing what you're good at, just making sure that you have ownership of the things you do well. And
You want to start a business in nanotechnology. What in nanotechnology do you see that you can change? One, two, that you think that you can do better than anybody else?
Well, without giving away necessarily what technology, speaking of, the actual nanotechnology market is more the blue water market. It's not many companies at all in that market, and there So essentially what I want to do is I want to now produce the nanotechnology that I'm currently researching and stuff. And, because it has so many applications and so many markets it's applicable to, be very successful.
So have you done a gap assessment already? Because like, you know what you're doing already, it probably exists, right? So we're not gonna do anything, new. We just wanna make sure that the will already exists. But you see how many will companies are there already. So somebody had something proprietary that they could add to it. They made something better that already existed. So if you have an opportunity, if you do a gap assessment, I think that's probably the best thing to do, just to do a gap assessment on what you don't see exist in the field that you want to get into, and you fill that gap, like you said, the need. I think that's the best thing you can do, is just start by looking at what doesn't exist, or where there has been failure, and you're trying to fix the failure.
Right. And I plan on, like, you guys actually just gave me this idea as far as like starting small, as far as what implementation, because there's already implementation of said technology, but it's just not on a massive scale, so maybe we could maybe make it more efficient and such.
Yeah.
And then start small, and then we can move on to the other sectors.
Success breeds success. When you become successful in one thing, people listen to you, they're more likely to allow you to work on something else. So that's why I always tell people to start small, start with something that you know you can do, that's going to differentiate you, that's going to make you look good, it's going to make you better, it's going to make you look great. And when it comes time for you to do a bigger project, you're going to be like, hey, well, I did this. Now people are going to be more willing to listen.
Now, what if I have a situation where I'm like $1 to $2 million startup as far as what would I do as far as?
They're not, if you remember you tried to sell me on the cereal?
Right.
I'm not buying the cereal, I'm buying you. I'm buying trust. I'm buying into you because I trust you. I trust that you're able to handle what you're doing. Right? Because
Are you trying to raise $2 million? Or you already have it?
Trying to raise it right as far as for the company, so as far as buying equipment and stuff like that.
I mean, I'm gonna be straight up honest with you right now, brother. I don't see you doing it right now. You don't have a definite plan, you don't have a definite goal. You gotta have a definite plan, a definite goal, what you're gonna do with that money, and how is that money gonna affect the other person's money? And how is this $1 billion going to sufficiently be used to grow your business or to develop your life?
Just kind of chime in on kind of where you're at with, because we talked about this a little, but I've been asking students as they come in my office, just kind of randomly, just to see what they would say. If someone were to gift you $1 million, they don't want anything from it except for the fact that it has to either be planned out within 24 hours. You have to have a plan on how you plan on spending $1 million, or you have to spend $1 million. How would you do it? And then that, students started giving me answers like, oh, I had to pay off my student loans, and I bought my mom a house, and other. And they were giving me all these answers, and I'm like, okay, but once you do all that, that $1 million is going to go quick. Plus, that's not really line item monetized, so it's not really thought out. You're going to run out of that money really quick. So that's something that you can kind of think in your developmental stage right now while you're still getting everything together. It's like if once you graduate, because you're an excellent student, if once you graduate, as soon as at your graduation ceremony, someone walked up to you and said, Mr. Mays, I'd like to give you $1 million, but I need to know what you're going to do with it.
So, again, it goes back to you knowing exactly what you're gonna do. Jay says it's unlikely for you to get it done if you don't have a definite plan, right? Well, it's also unlikely for you to get it done if the people who are coming to you don't trust you, right? So you have to have a proven track record of managing what you're managing in order for people to even be willing to invest in.
So the reason why I can't specifically say, what exactly that money would be allocated for is because I'm going to a PhD program and doing research on that technology, so I can become more familiar with like the cost of something.
You gotta watch out if you do that.
Right.
If you do any research anywhere, they own you.
If you're right, yeah.
I've been talking to multiple universities, which is why I'm trying to find a university. It'll allow me to, at the end of my PhD program, to copy.
Good, dude, that's smart.
Have you done the internship yet?
So I'm going to the actual university that has been talking about all this. Basically, what I'm talking about is something.
Excellent.
Prior to internships, I've been
So, and then there's different programs. So like there's programs all the time that these universities have. And they will, you know, they'll take your intellectual property and they'll use it and that research, that professor who's focused on the research will become a star and you'll just be his understudy, right?
Right.
So you definitely wanna maintain control of everything that you do. And it's kind of hard when you're starting out because everybody wants you to pay your dues along the way. But I think if you're strong enough, you can make it work to do it. But again, it's about having a strong network that's going to be there. Nobody gets anywhere by themselves, right? So I mean, you can be the most brilliant person in the world, but everybody has somebody who's going to work with you, and they're going to make things easier for you. They may have some access that you don't know. And, you know, you might make friends with the manager at night, with the night manager at night, who can let you into the building to do your work study. Just treat everybody as an asset. Don't you know if the person who cleans the floor has the keys to the door, you might want to make friends with them. Right? So it's just things like that. You know, this small things. I guess just treat everybody on your road to your millions and billions of dollars like they deserve a piece of it. Because they help you out along the way. They kind of do deserve a piece of it. Not saying you have to give it to them, but just treat them like they deserve a piece of it.
Everybody should use the mistake for something. Gotta be the best.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean,
Do you have a business plan right now?
So, my granddad actually told me to go online and look at the model and try and start sketching them out. But I've been so busy trying to find a PhD program that take me through that. Trying to have.
did you find it?
So my plan is, since I'm going to the summer RU at Rutgers and then after I graduate from that summer research program, I'm offered the opportunity to become a RISE super grad, so that's $100,000 for the PhD program.
Yeah.
And if I can find an advisor, which would be the point of me going to the program there, is to communicate with everybody.
Yeah.
They take me under their university.
Excellent.
You do have.
You have a plan.
That's a good plan, man. We stick with that.
You have a plan.
That's the plan. So, and it's just, again, what Jay says is know your tribe, you know, because you're gonna, like, once you enter your PhD program, you'll know everybody you need to know to start with. Use everybody in that classroom, because they, you know, don't be superfluous with the information you're giving people, because one person could take your idea and try to make it theirs, but they don't have you. They don't have they don't have you, like, to make it work. I can give you all the ideas you want,
Right.
but you don't have me, right? So, and that's what it is. This is your idea. It's you make it work. So it's just one of those things that you use the people in your classroom, because you can start any business. You can make the world a lot smaller by using those people. You know, I have a friend who went to law school at Howard University from Virginia Union, and one of our friends' father was a lawyer in Minnesota, and he was a part owner of the Minnesota Twins. So my friend from Virginia Union who graduated from Howard had no idea that our friend's dad had so much influence in Minnesota, because he never really spoke of it. He offered him this, this law clerkship in Minnesota, and he became a really great lawyer in Minnesota, and then ended up moving back to DC to do great things there. So you just use your network.
Just to kind of, I guess, because I know you guys have had to do this before, when do you know when to let somebody out of your network or exit someone from your tribe? And I know you spoke about, having to fire your brothers, but like what was the signs or the red flags that made you go, and if you had to do this again, what are some universal, signs for you that lets you know, okay, these are not the people that need to be on my team, that just riding my coattails or, trying to ride my way, etc.
I like to say there's cherubs floating around everywhere shooting arrows at everyone, and there's a great love relationship, but it's not. I think, you have to, in order to prevent having to fire someone or remove someone from your tribe, you have to actually do due diligence in the beginning. So that saves you a lot of time. So with my brother, that was just a thing for me, that I just wanted to help somebody just progress. But then when they're not open to listening to people give advice, I think that's the biggest thing. Like, I think the best thing about mine and Jay's business relationship is that, you know, no matter what I think I say that is stupid, I mentioned this earlier, but it always seems like a great idea. And he'll tell me if it's not.
That's what I think is important in selecting your tribe. You gotta be able to say anything.
What you feel.
You don't have to be able to feel like you're walking on eggshells around someone they're not your tribe.
Right.
That's it. You can't say whatever you feel.
You're not gonna be successful with a lot of people who tell you yes to everything. You know, you have to have people who tell you no to the things that you want. Like I think if we both told each other yes on everything, we would not be far at all. Like there are certain things that we worked on and that I really didn't like. And there are certain things that, you know, we worked on that he really didn't like. But I think at the end of it, we found a better way forward with you know, just because of our differences.
There's a great book called Give and Take by Alan Grant. He's one of my grad school, well, he teaches at Penn University. He's an MBA professor at Penn University. Did a little seminar, I attended. But what that book, it talks about givers and takers, and how to identify people who are givers and takers. Givers are people who are going to help you fulfill your dreams. They'll work hard with you. They'll give up their time, their money, they'll give of their self. Takers are the people who are looking for you to see what they can get out of you. You identify a taker, you either have to do one or two things. You put them in their place, or you cut them out. And so I would say that's a great book to read and to identify the characteristics of the taker. And then, depending on how close that taker is to you, you know, you have to figure out what place you put them in. Some people, you kick them out your life forever. Some people, you say, okay, you had this role right here. You know, and so I'm not gonna lie to you. And as you build, as you do those, if you do those two, if you do day one and day two, like I told you to do, you're gonna get a lot of people who want to get to know you, who are gonna want to be a part of your tribe, who want to be a part of your network because of what you've done and what you've built. And they're gonna be, my LinkedIn email, I'll probably get 10 to 15 emails a day from people I have no clue who they are. But they look and see who I'm friends with. They look and see I won awards. I've been in this magazine or in this newspaper. Now all of a sudden, they want to be my friend. You know, they don't call me offering. You know, most of them don't call offering when they can give to me. They call wanting me to get something from them. And even if it is an offer, it's an offer laced in, I got these services for you to buy. So it's, you know, so you just have to watch how people approach you and learn stuff. And, you know, I mean, I could give you characteristics, but I think it's best to get that book right.
Always have a professional reading list. You know this. But read more than everybody else.
I would recommend reaching that for that.
Yeah. Just, you know, share your book, share your ideas. Just share it. I mean,
Millionaire Next Door. It's a lot of books. How many books have you read this year so far?
Oh shit, I don't know.
don't be ashamed. Don't be ashamed. of yourself.
Minimum number.
Yeah.
20, 30?
Perfect.
I'm counting, hold on.
So I got run out early. Nice to meet
Man,
you.
it was a pleasure. Make sure you take our information, you can email us, you can,
For enjoyment or
For everything.
period.
For everybody.
Yeah.
I was like 6
Everybody.
months for enjoyment and then,
This year,
yeah.
audio, and I'm talking about audio and action.
Oh,
So, okay, at least 6, that's cool. 2, okay.
You're just starting.
So, but look, if you've even considered reading a book, you've done a lot more than everybody else has.
The average CEO reads how many books a year? On average? 60.
Just
5
about,
a month.
yeah.
Yeah, average. So these are people with the most demanding jobs.
One a week. You just, you know, 1 a week.
History books, yeah, absolutely.
Well, I said, a good way to get around it is download Audible.
Yeah.
Like,
There's
you
so
get a
much
lot
you
of-
can do while you're listening to this.
Yep, I would say you always get the unabridged version, because that's the book read word for word.
Yeah.
So now you get the whole story, whole experience. But, I mean, you know, you gotta read. When people tell you, and you read, not just read Give and Take and Rich Dad Poor Dad, but also read stuff like The Count of Monte Cristo, Three Musketeers.
Read a lot of sci-fi, man.
Sci-fi.
There's so much cool, like,
Oh
scientists
my
writing
gosh,
their weird
man.
experiences, and
Yes.
it's awesome.
History books.
Yes,
History.
History books.
History books are good. There's a lot of cool alternative history books where you're like, I didn't know.
Anthologies and stuff like that, like, there's a whole book of anthologies that, it's just like creation stories, or stories about rage, or stories about love, or something. And it's something that I had to read in critical thinking while I was in school, but I kept the book, because sometimes I want to read about Odysseus, or
And
other stuff.
one of the best books I read last year was about Julius Caesar's division, the military division he commanded, and kind of how it was before he got there, how it shaped up when he was there, the major battles they won, who were his top generals, stuff like that. Man, not only was it a great history book, but it was a great lesson on leadership.
You want to read it right now?
Yeah, so, I'm just big on reading.
Yeah.
And that, like I said, average CO reads 60 books a year. That's average. So that means there's a whole bunch of people that read more, and people that read less.
A lot of people
But on
do.
average,
So, and the reason why I chose this book, and because I brought it, I mean, I'm just reading it, but it tells, you know, during the time when the United States was, you know, flourishing during the 90s and everything, Japan was like recovering from this I guess, this tsunami of bad luck. China was a rural country, right? Everybody, all their intelligent people were working in farms. So I think since 1980 up until now, China has become one of the most technologically advanced countries in the world. And they're expanding their empire to other places. So they're buying Africa and they're buying all these different you know, countries on different continents. Well, they were able to do that by I guess, mining their intellectual capital and being aggressive when it was time to make a decision. So they were able to develop their people and they were able to execute a plan. I think the biggest thing that they did was it's about their telecom industry, right? They had so many different segmented places. There was 30 telecom agencies in China at the time. And one person said, this is way too much. We need to solidify this, make it state-owned. They made it state-owned. Once it got successful, they launched it on, they took it private, and then they brought it back public by doing it, by doing the Chinese equivalent of an IPO. And that's how China got to the point where it is right now as a dominating world power. You know, they have all the human capital in the world, but, you know, they didn't have the intellectual capital, or at least they weren't putting it to the right uses. So now they've gotten it to the right uses, and now they're a world power. And this is all detail in the book. I mean,
Just some small details in
it's
this.
small details. I mean, it's a big book, but it's written by Henry Paulson.
We like divested most of our manufacturing there because there's no environmental laws.
Right, but again, sustainability. So this deals with the whole development of the country.
They're having to put the brakes on all of it because
Right.
they screwed up. They're like,
Right,
oh,
they screwed up.
that didn't work.
The dam killed everything. I mean, it changed the whole environment of that place. So like when you look at nanotechnology, you're looking at changing the world, but do you want to change it for the worse or do you want to change it for the better? Well, because it's going to be on your conscience if you change it for the worse. The people who built China into a world power are dealing with the fact that they've killed millions of people and ruined millions of cultures in their country, just based on, you know, their ability to do these things. So when you do a decision, you have to. We believe in doing moral business. We want to make sure that we deal with that we deal with good people and do good things as a result of it. Not everybody is out there for that. Some people are just out there for money, right? So if you're out there for money, you need to have you need to be willing to die with the decisions you make for money, because it's going to end up killing somebody.
questions, comments, this one.
My friend is the guy who figured out how to take a GIS database and apply it against a call list to figure out who is the most likely credit person for a company to pay. So they were looking use GIS to identify wealthy neighborhoods Then he took their loan database and laid that over that, and then they took their call database and rolled it through that, and he made their company like something like 1,000% profit increase in 1 month when they implemented that. He was like, that was the stupidest thing I've ever done.
He could have did it himself and became a consultant.
Everybody gets calls from this now. Everybody gets super targeted calls. Super targeted. They know who you are. They know if you can hear you.
Area codes. Is that, wait, so he helped develop that?
Yup. He's very mad at himself. He's like, what? I don't believe
Just be, just be aware of the decisions you make and who you're doing it for.
So one thing I'll also do is I will put up my personal phone number on here. I'm not gonna pressure my partner to do that.
My email, I respond to my email. It's on there. So you just reach out and I'll usually get back to you within like 5 or 10 minutes. I check every email and respond to everyone.
It'd be better texting me. I get a million calls a day, and a million emails. But if you text me, I'm more likely gonna answer you. You telling me you are.
So I guess to finalize things, what is within the next 5 years for effective management outside of summer camps?
We're already there. We're already there. We've entered into research projects with the Department of Transportation, with USAID, and with the Department of the Army. So we are going to become the preeminent, I guess, drone company in the United States. I mean, DJI dominates everything right now, but I think because of the way we are positioned and our will to do things, I think we'll be able to.
And it's so beginning. It's like when the internet started, man. It just
Yeah,
companies just roll right
Yeah,
over.
and I think we haven't rushed anything, so we're taking our time to look at opportunities. Every opportunity is not a good opportunity, right? So we're vetting opportunities, and we're just making sure that we're putting ourselves in the sandbox with the right people.
Main things we're getting into is stuff based on our background. We're both good at program management, so that's why we did camps. It's a program to put camps together.
Well, tell them also
Another,
why.
we're both emergency management people, so we're looking at drones and how drones can help with security. That's our background. We're good at that. And then we'll also eventually probably get into kind of creating some entertainment space around drones. So those are the 3 areas. Really, camps, and the camps is, we've never relied on that to be our $1 billion idea. That's our give back to the community idea. That's our make sure that people, make sure our people are introduced to this idea quite often. African Americans and minorities are introduced to things late. So we thought that this was our opportunity to do that. But we're emergency management and security experts, so we use drones to get into that space. And then we'll get into the entertainment space also. I kind of have a long-term plan for that, which I don't want to say on camera, in front of everybody. But we have a long-term plan on that, and we have billionaire sponsors who are willing to work.
You have to look at the dynamics of camps. Like, the picky mom, she has to have something to do with her kids during summertime. So they spawn a huge industry. I think, what you said at the beginning, this is a $12 billion a year industry for camps. So, I mean, 12 billion for camps, and just getting a percentage of that makes you a pretty decent amount of money. So,
Have you ever thought about using the drones for like emergency cases, like earthquakes? I know they use it for crime investigation, for analyzing the evidence and out. But I've heard of fire, yeah. They
They
use
set
it
up
as
like microcell sites on them.
Yeah, we have projects we're working with, we have projects we're working with the federal government that are along that line right now. So, I mean, a lot of proprietary, a lot of it's, not been approved, and a lot of it is not within the regulations of the law right now, so we can't really talk about it. But yes, we are working with, we both have pretty good contacts within the DOD and other parts of the federal government. Our friend saw that we had started a drone company. We both got plenty of calls. People think about having a great trial. We got plenty of calls, people who wanted to say, hey, I would love drones to do this, or I would love drones to do that. Can you develop them? By the way, if we develop it, we got federal money for it. By the way, you guys are black, you're veterans, you're disabled veterans. You can get, direct funding if you get your business certified in all three of those things. So we can give you a contract without a bid. What you want to do? When you've got friends in positions that can do things for you like that, give you information like that, you can grow fast and swift. That's why it's great to do the job.
You know things before they are spoken. So,
But yeah, that's part of the thing.
yeah, we want for more questions.
I'm just looking light on the questions today.
No, go ahead.
No, really, I had two.
So that's my number. I've had my email up the last 3 days. Hopefully y'all taking it down. If not, I'll put that back up also.
You guys have copies of the socks.
I'm a resource for you guys.
Welcome to our tribe family.
I know a few people, done a few things in life. I think I can probably help you out. If I can't help you, I definitely know somebody who can. So, hit me up.
Well, thank you, Mr. Brown, and Mr.
Okay, Andy.
Davis, it came to me after I messed up on camera, but it is what it is. Thank you guys again for coming. We really appreciate you. We're gonna cut a little short for day 3. I think that's fair. You guys have done an amazing job. If there's any more questions, students, make sure that you connect with them. If you're watching online or if you're watching this later, make sure that you connect with these guys. If you need help getting pretty much anywhere in life, they have a lot of good advice, so make sure that you do that. Let's give them a hand.
If you're watching online, just say you watched online when you text me. All right, so that's it. Thank you, guys.
You guys go ahead. I gave you a whole bunch of
He's like one of the best movers takers on the upper side. Where he runs